What is going on, golf fans? It's your boy Gsluke here with our round 3 live stream covering props in DFS for the 3M Open. Gonna go through what you need to know to go out there, have yourself a Saturday, just like we did today here for Showdown and for props. If you saw my tweet, if you're in the Patreon, first off, steak and lobster is on me tonight. But yeah, we had ourselves a day. Made over $2,000 on that side. Solid day on Showdown too, which was the perfect little bounce back, right? After the rough prop day out there on Thursday. So definitely stoked, real happy about that, of course. First off, hopefully you're having yourself a solid Saturday. I should say Friday evening. Oh boy, our time's all off here. But yeah, no Crown and Coke for me tonight. A little bit more of a mellow night, just kind of hanging out and whatnot. Playing some video games after this with the buds. And my cat over there, I guess you can see her, just make a little guest appearance out here. She hasn't been feeling that well this week. She, I don't want to disclose, but is having a pretty serious physical issue right now. So we've got her in here. We'll be able to keep a little eye on her, make sure that she's actually doing okay. And she can be a little co-star out there as well. So there we go. Welcome on into the chat. What's going on? Bradley, Curtis down there. What's going on? We got Paul, Jose down there. My cat's freaking out down in the background. What's going on, guys? BLC cashed you out on the props today. Love to hear it, dude. Let's get after it again today here. Chirp followed suit with the other shady sites. I saw that. I actually withdrew all my money from there. So yeah, not a surprise, honestly. What that leaves like Underdog is the best site. Oh well, it's just a shitty situation is what I'll say there. Curtis seems like Prize Picks birdie better matchups are regular payouts only for 2-mans. So only if you run like a 2-man card. If you run like a 4 or 5-man card, it doesn't impact it. Shots, no shots today. No. You told me last night Luke was going to nuke today. You weren't wrong. I got to say that you weren't wrong. Late night with Luke. Yeah, it's kind of why I'm keeping my voice down too. My neighbors, I live in an apartment complex, no Gsluke estate yet. We'll work on that. We'll get there at some point. But yeah, I got to keep my voice down a little bit because I don't own my own house yet. Vincent, good evening, sir. Great day. Yeah, absolutely. Let's run it back. So we're not going to waste time here. Okay. We're going to hop on in. Okay. So first on off, the course today played pretty even across the board. In fact, maybe even a little bit easier there towards the end of the day. That was because of the little delay they had, right? Of course, little rain shower, little thunderstorm came through, which softened up the golf course. It ended up being pretty calm after the storm as well. So the guys got after it late, right? Which for our main slate stuff was amazing, right? Of course, we really stacked the AM PM wave. And not only did they have the better conditions for round 1, where it was just under a shot easier. Today, right, they played a slightly easier golf course. So it was over a stroke advantage between the two waves. That was nice to be able to capitalize on. From the Showdown perspective today, it kind of held us back, right? I didn't think it was going to play easier in the afternoon, right? I thought if anything, it might play just slightly harder than what we had in the morning. That little delay, of course, which that forecast for that delay came out after the live stream, completely threw that off. So it's not like it completely killed us. I still had PM guys in my player pool, right? I knew that I was talking about the AM probably playing easier, which was incorrect, right? I'll take responsibility for that. Did not foresee that storm, at least at the time of the live stream, right? Did not foresee that storm. But it didn't really matter that much. We went out there, still cashed out, had a lot of the PM guys that went off in our player pool, right? Auberg -7 was real nice to have. We're able to get to a few guys like Doug Gim that went off. We had Brandon Wu in our player pool. Let's see, Eric Cole, Kevin Yu. I believe I had Sam Ryder, but I'm not 100% sure about the Ryder call there. Either way, it was a decent day. It wasn't a smash day for Showdown, but just slightly above positive. So not trying to pat myself on the back as much as looking at the stats here to try and take a look at what we're going to do for tomorrow, which there's no weather edge, right? So we're going to go through this rather quickly. They're going off of threesomes off of both tees. I guess they expect some kind of storm to come through around like 5 p.m. So they got to try and finish up play by then. That's essentially what the rules official was telling us earlier. So they're going off, I believe, at like 10:25 a.m. is when the first tee time is going to be. So whether Draftkings pushes off lock to accommodate for that, I guess we're going to have to see. But either way, right, people are going to be playing in essentially the same conditions, right? We had what, like I guess it isn't set yet, but probably like 74 guys, 75 guys they're going to end up making the cut. Tee times are going to be about a 2-hour period at the very most, right? Because yeah, they don't have them up yet, obviously, because the round hasn't technically ended. But they're going to be teeing off in this window from like 10 a.m. over here to like 12 to 1 p.m. So maybe the earliest tee times get like an hour of slightly lower winds. But look at the conditions, right? They're very consistent, right? Sustained winds pretty much there in the same range. Then your wind gusts are there in the 16 to 20 mile an hour range. So this is the HRRR. It's the most accurate. Pretty much all the rest agree. This NEM model, you can see pretty consistent across the board. Icon, you can see the same kind of thing, maybe slightly lower sustained winds. GFS, ECM, there's not real much deviation there. So from the weather perspective, I guess other than that storm that they think is going to come through around 5 p.m., there's not really that much to worry about. And honestly, looking at these forecasts, I don't see that storm, right, that they were calling for at 5 p.m. So I don't know, maybe the whole threesomes off of both tees wasn't really needed. My cat's going crazy back there, by the way. It's super distracting right now. So if there's not going to be a huge weather edge, guys, for Saturday Showdown, you're looking at the kind of slate where, you just got to play game theory, right? There's not going to be, only take these tee times, right? Only take this subset of players. You're going to have to be a little bit more thoughtful this time around, right? There's not going to be just the blindly mixing and matching of AM players. So what I would do here, right, is you've got to mix in some chalk, right? We're going to talk about a few chalky pieces that I like. Most notably, Hideki, Aaron Rye, going to be two of those chalkier pieces. I guess Vincent Norman we can throw in there too, right? And then taking a few pivots, right? Maybe it's the Dylan Wu brothers or the Brandon Wu brothers, right? That we're going to get to there later on. It's a game theory slate, right? You're going to have to pick your spots with your chalk and play them convincingly, right? Try and get a little leverage to the field. And then you're going to have to mix in a few pivots. So, just like I said, it's more of a traditional slate because we don't have that weather edge, but still playable for sure. All the time I get the question, like, if there's not a weather edge, is Showdown even worth playing? And the answer is always yes, right? Weather edges, great. They make our job a little bit easier, I would say, but still, Showdown, just playing the low-owned players, especially when it comes to your value plays, is going to help you print money in the future. I mean, Showdown, right? We know, a single round sample of golf is extremely volatile, and people don't realize that, right? They don't realize that, like, even the slapdicks out there that you've never heard of that are in this field that hardly made it through the cut line have, I don't want to say the same chance of going out there and getting to the optimal as everyone else, but it's a marginal difference. I mean, like, let's say every player of like the 74 that made the cut, let's say all of them have like a, I don't know, 8% chance to get to the optimal. It's probably a little less than that. Maybe a little bit more for some players, right? Up top, I don't know, the range is probably like 4 or 5%. Right, from like the top player in terms of optimal rate and compared to the bottom player in terms of optimal rate, right? Like even like the shittiest of players that made the cut still have a tangible chance of getting into that lineup. So like, when we're playing Saturday Showdown, right, without a weather edge, just know that, right? And up top, there's going to be some unavoidable chalk. It's worth noting that a lot of the top end players just missed it, right? Did not make the weekend. We have two 10K golfers. We have three real 9K golfers, right, that are there at $9,000 plus, which means that all of the players from Jaeger up in, I mean, even including Jaeger, are super chalky, right? Jaeger is even like 15%, even though he would probably be like 5-6% on most of these Showdown slates. Then guys like Hideki, right, he's 34%. You should see Tony Finau's ownership, right? If you're on the Patreon, you have this downloaded, you could do that little comparison there. I'll give you a hint, right? It's higher than this 34.2% number. So up top, right, you're going to have to take highly owned players, right? Unless you're willing to just completely fade the top end of the board, which, I mean, you can do, right? But like if you're starting lineups down here with Steven Jaeger, for example, like I don't feel like you're giving up that much. Like I feel like it's doable. You can start with lineups with somebody like a Steven Jaeger, but I don't see the point of it. Like there's so much value to be had. It's so easy to save the salary to spend up for a player like that. Even two players right up there, $9,000 plus. So I don't know. It's an interesting slate. There's not many options up top, right? So like if just because a player's chalky up there, don't talk yourself off of them. Is what I'm telling you. Everyone's going to be chalky up there from $9,000 plus. I like Hideki because the ball striking has been there. He's only made 2 bogeys all week. Both of them were today. And the flat stick just wasn't cooperating. He was hitting plenty of shots from 15 to 20 feet. Just really only got one to drop all day, right? Which isn't going to give you that ceiling type of performance. So I'm willing to take a chance on Hideki, knowing that he's going to set up those opportunities, and he just has to go out there and cash out. Tony Finau has shown a few glimpses of weakness, right? I mean, even round one, right, started like -6 through 5 holes, and then I believe shot +1, right, his last like 14 holes. Hideki today, right, he showed the weakness with the putter, but the ball striking has never gone away. The guy has just been absolutely striping it from the time this golf tournament started. So that's why I'm taking him, right, over Tony Finau. Now, if you could take both of them, right, Tony Finau and Hideki in your player pool, just know that, pretty much you can't play any of the 9K range then, right, in any of those sort of lineups, especially if you're taking those two in the same lineup. And if you're trying to get leverage to the field, like, I don't know, if you take these two guys, like you're going to have a hard time getting anywhere near double the field on both of them, right? Playing like 60-70% of both of those players is going to be a real tough thing to do in any sort of optimizer that you're using to build lineups. So I'm taking Hideki. I'm putting my flag behind him in a vast majority of my lineups, at least 2/3 of them. And hopefully he has a big day. I guess we'll see. The ball striking's definitely been there. I'm taking Aaron Ryan down here in the 8K range. There are certainly guys in my player pool, here in this dead zone, right? Of course, I can't talk up everyone here on the live stream, but Aaron Ryan, $8,400. I'm taking him because, he's still got some ownership, right? He's 23.9% owned. So let's not go crazy. Let's not call him a pivot there, but I'm taking him because he's kind of going under the radar, right? He was chalky going into the week. And if he was at -7 or better, if he was -10, God forbid, Aaron Ryan might be 40% out here for round 3 showdown. So this 23.9% number, just kind of put it into context, right? It could be a whole lot worse. And in terms of points projections, right, he actually projects better than Hideki Matsuyama, which is like kind of crazy to say, but especially based on recent form total model ranking, right? My projections like him better than Hideki. That's how he's been playing over the last few months. So kind of worth noting, right? Just points per dollar, just pure all metrics, numbers, right? Say that he's a great play. Speaking of great plays, you got Vincent Norman, right? Also has a higher projection than Hideki Matsuyama, which again is just worth noting, right? Like you're talking about Hideki, 10K golfer. Vincent Norman is $7,900. So despite him getting 17.6% ownership, which again, like it's not like we're talking about a pivot here. I'm eating that chalk. So a few of the guys that I put on this sheet here were just like pieces of chalk that I'm eating. A lot of the guys that I have in my pool that are blacked out on here are relatively low owned plays, right? So like if I'm starting with Hideki, maybe my second man in, or maybe it's not my second most expensive player, but like my second piece of chalk, right? If I start Hideki and then go like Aaron Rye as the second piece of chalk, like there's going to be somebody in this range of that's blacked out here that I'm taking at low ownership, right? We talked about game theory being how you have to approach this Saturday showdown slate. And that's where you're getting that leverage, right? That's where you're taking advantage of that game theory edge. So you're going to take some chalk, especially up top. Like it's kind of unavoidable on this kind of slate. Just make sure that you're mixing in at least 1-2 pivots, right? You don't have to go crazy about it. Let's see. The Wu brothers I'm playing, both relatively low owned. You can see both in the 4% range, and both just good players. Honestly, right? Guys that we see top 10, top 20. I don't want to say all the time, but frequently enough, and they pop enough for showdown to make them solid plays. So I know maybe not the most sexy stats, probably not striping it as well as some of the guys that are -7, -8. But you're talking about guys that are probably half, sometimes 3-4 times lower owned. And I would say the same, if not better players than a lot of the chalky guys around him. Just worth noting, some of that chalk, right? Kevin Streelman, Billy Horschel chalk, like I just can't get there, right? Lee Hodges, clearly as the leader is going to get quite a bit of ownership. JT Poston chalk, you've got Tony Finau, of course. Miliana Grillo's getting a bunch of ownership. It's all the guys at the top of the board. Very predictable. It's very typical of a Saturday showdown slate. Not a bunch of surprises, right? I would say if you're going to see a surprise in terms of ownership, let me try and even think of one. Maybe Aaron Rye, right? I don't think everyone's going to expect him to be like 24, 25% owned, But I don't know, $8,400 is probably still too cheap on Aaron Rye. And in terms of like modeling, every optimizer, every projection system is going to spit them out towards the top, right? Like mine did, right? Like I'm not going to change that, right? Just because I know that like it's because of the recent form, right? It's probably a little bit inflated. That's how projections work, right? When somebody's in good recent form, right, trending in the right direction, their projections go up, right? So just know, maybe in terms of surprising ownership numbers, maybe Aaron Rye's the only one. Vincent Norman, right? I have him at 17.6%. Like, there's a reason why I'm still playing these two players, right? Like, I think they're going to get ownership because they're good plays. They're too cheap, right? They're guys that were kind of getting attention going into the week that I don't think are going to get mega steamed. Now, they're getting some steam, right? Because I think that, just like I like them, right? There's going to be other people that recognize that, but hopefully it doesn't get out of hand. Let's see, I have one more play on the highlighted list. So we've got Aaron Baddeley down here. This guy is just consistently disrespected. He should always be at least like $500, $600 more expensive. And he's never chalky. Now, this time, because he's there at -7, right, playing pretty well, I do have him getting 4.1% ownership, which compared to a lot of his peers is significantly higher. It's like sometimes 2-3 times higher. But I don't think it's high enough. Like Baddeley is just clearly a better player than the guys around him. And then he's also just clearly a guy that has upside, right? Because the ball striking has been there this week. He's known as more of a putter, right? Putts pretty well on bent grass. So I'll be playing Aaron Baddeley too. So there's a bunch of pivots down here I'm taking. There's not a guys really cheaper than Baddeley that I'm taking. I think there's only like one in my player pool. Cheaper than $6,600. So yeah, I don't know. You don't have to go crazy in terms of your salary here for Saturday Showdown. Like the pricing is soft enough. When I was running ownership projections, I kept having to boost the top end of the board because the average salary used was like $4,800 in my first few runs. And that's just because of how soft the pricing is. Like I just ran my normal algorithm, did its thing right. For Showdown, I have to adjust ownership because there's normally different amounts of people that make the cut, right? Different types of players, right? Like when a bunch of the top end players make the cut, right? Ownership's a lot more spread out on those top end players. Whereas this time, right, hardly any of these top end guys made the cut. So ownership's a lot more condensed than what you're used to seeing. So I'll leave you that as a little parting note from the DFS side, right? Up top, ownership's extremely condensed. So just make sure that the stands that you're taking are strong stands. I'm talking at least 50% ownership. We'll go, okay, I'll soften it a little bit. We'll go at least 40% exposure to anyone you're taking there in the 9K plus range. That should be an absolute must for your process tomorrow. Let's bring up the lineup construction side. We'll go through some questions and then we'll talk some props afterwards. How's that sound? First off, we've got our community contest. This I just posted there before the stream started. So get in there, $5 entry, single entry, as all of these contests are. Play for bragging rights, play for a little bit of money, and have ourselves a time. And if you want any sort of like lineup review, I got you guys on that. Just let me know down in the chat. What's going on? Jay Slay says, you're the GOAT ever since you started following you last April. Appreciate that, Jay. And yeah, you're an OG. You've been around for a while, man. Nobody better than Luke. I don't know if that's true, but I appreciate the compliment. You're sold. Your stuff's super helpful. Paid the $10 for Patreon. Yeah, I usually let the results do the talking, Paul. I'm not the type of guy to like, I don't know. I'm not the super energetic, like go out there and market things and like shove it down your throat sort of thing. Usually I just go out there, do my thing, right? And people see me cashing out enough and they join the site, right? It's I don't know. When you're cashing out, you don't have to act like a salesman 24/7 like the rest of these cappers, right? Sept killed you, killed me too, Colin. In fact, in terms of 6 of 6s, I think I only have 2 this week out of my 150 lineups. He killed me. JT killed me. Woodland definitely killed quite a few lineups for me. Who else up top? There were a few others. There were a lot. Like obviously a lot of the good players, or a lot of the top end players missed the cut. And I had a bunch of those. As everyone did, honestly, right? I think 6 of 6 percentage was like 1-2% this week. It was crazy low. Luke is real. I try to be, man. Absolutely. Appreciate that. I try to be real, even when it doesn't feel good, right? I definitely say it how it is. That's how we're going to operate. So if we're going through building lineups for round 3, first off, make sure you're not playing anyone that missed the cut. I think that's important, right? So don't place on JM. He's not making it to the weekend. DraftKings isn't going to take them out. So lock as of right now, what is it set at? 10 a.m. So they did move it back. So good on DraftKings for doing so. They might move it to 10:25. So obviously there's only like a hole and a half to play. And I believe they're like sending them out at like 9 something a.m. So there should be some sort of time between the time that round 2 ends and then the round 3 starting out there. So if you're going to play Sungyeol No, a Kevin Tway, or play, who's the other one? Scott Harrington. Scott Harrington's outside the cut right now, but he has a birdie putt on 17, also has par 5 18th that he can make a birdie on. If you're going to play any of those three, again, Tway, Sungyeol No, or Scott Harrington, those are the three players. Make sure you wake up tomorrow, right? Check on their status. Make sure that they're actually going to be playing there for Saturday. Outside of that, it's all game theory. If you're playing in cash, take some chalk. Go for it. Have a ball if you want to. If you're playing in GPPs, take a few pivots, like I mentioned, 1, 2 in your player pool. You're going to take probably at least one chalky guy up top by default, just because of how the ownership is. You might take another one down here in the 9K range, 8K range. That's just fine. Just make sure that you're mixing in one low-owned option, I would say towards the middle to top end of the board, and then definitely one low-owned value play, and you're going to be good to go out there. Outside of that, I don't really have much from the lineup construction perspective. Again, late night live stream, not trying to wake up the neighbors or keep them up out here. So we're going to keep this thing moving along. So for props, let's see, did Underdog post a board? I'm hoping so. Whew, they did, and we got fantasy points? What's this? Okay, new category apparently. I instinctually went for the Crown and Coke just now, by the way, because I was like, ooh, we got to take this one in, but we'll just do it. You get 20 points for an albatross. Interesting. 10 for an eagle, 4 for a birdie. So it's not DraftKings pricing, but it's like kind of like DraftKings pricing, right? A consecutive birdie gets you 1. So if you get like 3 in a row, you just get like 1 bonus point for every birdie. Kind of feels like that's what it is, right? And then consecutive bogeys, you get a double minus. So it's DraftKings pricing plus a little added twist to it. To be frank with you, I have no idea how to project these players. Because it's not going to be the same as my DraftKings points, of course, right? My pricing, the DraftKings scoring is quite different than what we have here. But it's an interesting little twist. I'll give that to Underdog. I wasn't expecting that. And it feels like that's a category that we could take advantage of, right? Especially if I can fine tune my projections to do it for Underdog pricing. Not a bad idea. All right. So we got a board up there. I think we have one on Prize Picks too. So yeah, so like 5 birdies for Finau, 4.5 for a lot of the other players. What do we have over here? So 5 for Finau. They do have Hideki at 5. Okay. So maybe a slightly more positive board, right? Like everyone's at least 4.5 over here on Underdog. We do have a few guys at 4 over here on Prize Picks. And let's see strokes wise. They have Billy Ho. I was going to call him Ho. Oh, that wouldn't be fair. Oh, by the way, his ovation over there on the first tee today was pathetic. He deserves better than that. Even if he's a PGA Tour bootlicker, he deserves better than what he got today. So that's a whole stroke discrepancy. I don't hate that over. Like I told you, like this board seems a little bit more positive than what we have over there in Prize Picks. I don't know if I agree with that. Like Billy Ho's got to shoot 3 under par to cover that, right? Scoring average today, I know, was 1.6 under par. It's still twice better than that, right? It's twice as good, right, as 1.6 under par. Billy Ho, given his form, I don't know if we should expect that. By the way, guys, on Patreon, I do have the Showdown projections up. So if you're looking for all the projections that were blacked out there it is. And by the way, that's where I'm going to be posting all my prop stuff later. I didn't mean to click that tab, but because I did, figured I'd mention that. So he's at 69.5. Let's see, the bottom end of the board here. A lot of 69s. 69.5 for Jaeger. Honestly, I would take the over on Billy Ho still at 69.5, I think. And this 69.5 for Jaeger, I feel like I have to take the under, right? Like Jaeger's a much better player than Billy Ho. If we compare him to some of the other guys at 69, it seems pretty comparable. I don't know. We'll at least keep that in our back pocket. But over here on Underdog, let's see if we can put together a slip. We did one yesterday, absolutely cashed it up. It was a relatively easy cash too, there with Sahith Thagala and JT. But let's see if we can run it back. So we can't take his strokes over. So we know that because of the rolls over here in Underdog. We could take an under on birdies if we wanted to. Tyler Duncan, they have at 4.5. Oh boy. So I know the birdie average today was really high. And I know tomorrow it's probably going to be pretty high too. Like these guys are going to get after the course, but it's Tyler Duncan. Like, give me a break. I think I might have to lock this slip in. Do they even have Tyler Duncan up? No, but he would 100% be at 4. Yeah, okay. Just like yesterday, this slip, it felt almost too easy to get to it, but we're taking it. It honestly feels like almost too easy to put some of these slips together sometimes. But honestly, in terms of hit rate, those end up being some of the better slips that we enter. So if you missed it there, it's this combination of two that we're going to go with for the strip. I just call it strip slip. It's not the strip slip. It's the stream slip that we're going with out there. It's the Duncan under and the Horschel over, right? Horschel, honestly, I'd consider the over at 69.5 strokes on Prize Picks. So he's a stroke higher. Like that feels like a pretty good prop to take. And then Tyler Duncan at 4.5. He's not that guy. It's Tyler Duncan that we're talking about. So I'll just leave it at that. Let's see what we're going on down chat. Does Patreon go 30 days for membership or does it reset on the first? It's 30 days now. So Patreon changed that about like 3-4 months ago. Good change, right? Yeah, it's 30-day cycles now. I believe you can actually choose, Jeremy. Don't quote me on that. I think you can choose between 30 days or the starting on the first. But yeah, do the 30 days, right? Of course. Jason says JT making the Ryder Cup team. I could see it, honestly. I think if he doesn't make it on points, like he's going to get picked. Zach Johnson has already hinted that it would be really hard to keep him off of the team. And more than that, you got to think about the pairings, right? JT and Jordan are like a guaranteed combo. Even though JT, Jordan haven't been like the best players on tour the last few years, like they've been like good, not great, would say, right? They're like undefeated in team play. Literally, despite that, right? Despite not being the best players, maybe you still put them on the team because we know how good they are as a unit, right? Sometimes the sum of the parts is better than them individually, right? JT is close. You think he wins Wyndham? I could see it. I'm betting him next week. I'm playing him in DFS. I can tell you that much. You're said the 28th, so it looks like you get a full 30 days. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Didn't want to get a 3-day value. Honestly, next 3 days would pay for it, Jeremy. So I don't know. It's only $10. Rocky, when are you posting props on Patreon? Can't do it while I'm on live stream, so figure it out. Not on live stream. Luke, Jock Market is stupid with the lines. They almost got everybody at 5 birdies. Okay, let's look at it right now. Actually, I didn't know they'd have a board up yet. Honestly, yesterday they took until like midnight to post a prop board, so I definitely wasn't expecting that early. But let's see. They have Hostler at 5 birdies. You were right about getting over here quickly. Thank you for pointing this out. Yeah, Nico, you're the real MVP. You're right. What is this board? All right. Hostler and Lee Hodges under on Jock Market lock. I'm entering all $125 that I can on that site on one prop, on one slip. All right. Here we go. Hopefully you guys can see that. Oh, look at that. It's showing up. We got Lee Hodges under. We got Bo Hostler under. Both under 5 birdies. That is free. And by the way, if you're not on Jock Market, use my code. I'm going to throw it down in chat right now. Hopefully not unplug my mic. If I do unplug my mic, I'll be back momentarily. I promise you guys. It's Gsluke 50. I don't know what the 50 means, honestly. Maybe it's like $50 you get for like the promo for using it or something like that. I honestly couldn't tell you. But yeah, that slip, Hostler under, that Lee Hodges under, that's crazy. Yeah, you're right, Nico. Honestly, I probably should have done like a 4-man. Mitchell at 5, I can kind of see. Rye at 5 even, I can kind of see. Like they're at least good players. Like they should be at 4.5. Don't get me wrong. But like Hostler and like Hodges should be at 4 birdies at the very most. Refresh Underdog, the added fantasy scores. Yeah, it is interesting. I saw that. How do I feel about Hodges versus Duncan for birdies? That feels like a toss-up, Curtis. So I don't know if I'd give you any pick there. kind of feels like a toss up. So yeah, we've got these two props in, which again I feel pretty good about. Right, again, I think Duncan should be at like 4 birdies probably, and then Billy Ho is a stroke higher over there on Prize Picks. Let's see what else we're working with. Let's refresh the board. Got to check on my cat, by the way. I told you she's not. She's got something going on, so I've got to make sure she's doing good. No. She had the zoomies earlier, which, considering how she's been feeling, is kind of great to see. It was annoying because she was making all that noise, but great to see because she hadn't been that perky in quite a while, so that was good. And she's Jay chilling over there on the side of the desk, so that's good to see too. Let's see what we've got. Let's see what we got to work with. So Lee Hodges, we didn't take him just now, right? Yeah, we had Tyler Duncan Horschel. I feel like that's a good prop too. What do they got Hodges at? Do they have him on the board? They got it, right? Because he's like the leader at this point. Like, there's no chance they don't have him up here. Okay, well, he's at the very best going to be like 69 and a half strokes on Prize Picks. So let's throw that one in there. And let's find another fade. Oh, I'm liking these scrub fades. Like, they don't normally give us these shitty players to deal with. And I'm digging it, honestly. I'm digging it. Let's see. What have we got with Poston? He's at 69 strokes. He's at 68. Do we fade the leaders? Yeah, we do, right? Because that's how it works in PJ DFS, right? The leaders normally suck, right? Especially when they're a scrub like Lee Hodges. GT Poston, not really a scrub, but like he's got to shoot -4 to go under here. Okay. All right. Wait. Oh, they're both for strokes. Oh, that's right. So I gotta take one for birdies. Okay, so what's Lee Hodges' birdies at? Is he on the board? Okay. We might have to finagle this one. So maybe we do Poston strokes and Hodges birdies. Kind of feels. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, I forgot about their damn new rules. Right, super annoying. So let me throw that in there again. It was Hodges under birdies, and it's a Poston over strokes. There for the second card we're going with. Let's see what's going on. Any questions? All aboard the Coltrane again. Yeah, I'm playing him tomorrow. He's just a stud, dude. He's a much better player than I think people know. Your cats are on that Dustin Johnson catnip. Kind of seems like it. Now it feels like she's off that Red Mamba pack right now. She's slept over there. What you doing, bud? Weather looking rough for the afternoon players. He'll be teeing off in the AM. It's actually 3 sums off of both tees. So you're looking at a pretty much like a 2-hour window for tee times, maybe like 2.5 hours. There's no real like AM versus PM wave. So these guys are all going to be in the same kind of conditions, which is, and by the way, you're spot on, right? The weather does look a little dicey in the PM. That's why I'm taking some of the fades, right? Especially like for these scrubs at the top of the board. You can see that these guys are teeing off towards the latter half of tee times. They have it at 7:45 a.m. These guys aren't going to be teeing off till like 1 p.m. Eastern time. So actually, yeah, it'll be like 2 p.m. Eastern time because we're an hour ahead of them out there in Minnesota. So don't be fooled by that. Like these guys will be going off late. Let's see. Horschel will be going off relatively late too. And then who is the last one? Tyler Duncan. Yeah, he's going off relatively late too because he's there at the top of the board. So yeah, hopefully it blows late. Hopefully those wins kick up for us. It'll help us out with those props that we took. Let's see. What were the jock market props? It's under on Hostler, and it was the under on Lee Hodges. And they had them both at 5 birdies. I mean, that's crazy to me. Is Chirp unplayable? I think so. I took all my money off. The only money I have on there, Dylan, is bonus money that I had from doing like some of the referrals that when you guys use my code, right, I got a little bit of promo money. I can't withdraw that yet. So I believe the payouts are like 2.5x for a 2-leg parlay. What I'm going to do with that bonus money, and if you have any bonus money yourself, let's say that you lost your first card and they refunded you up to that $100, use it on like just super mispriced props. Like they're a tiny site. I'm sure they're going to post just some real shitty props at some point. Just sit on that money, hold on to it. Don't do anything crazy. And when they post a completely mispriced board, just take the 2.5x payout, right? Try and win that slip and then withdraw. That would be my recommendation. They asked me, by the way, via DM to start promoting them, that sort of thing. And then they went out there and changed payouts. So you know what? Hopefully they're watching this, by the way. I have no interest. in supporting a company that just continues to follow the colluding trend of all the other sites and changes their payouts or changes their rules. First off, I almost don't even want to partake in those kind of markets. And the only reason I'm even playing Underdog right now is because it's our only option. And if they make it worse than it is right now, then I'll just stop playing props. It is what it is. Like, I know that a lot of the people that subscribe to me do that, but I'm not going to force in shitty bets with lower payouts and hurt the community, right? Maybe we have to take a 1-2 week break. So be it, right? And if I lose subscribers, that's just going to be what happens, right? But maybe the 2 weeks off makes them change their roles. So I don't know. I've thought long and hard about that stance, and that's where I stand on it. If I have to take personal blow because of it, is what it is, right? There's nothing I can do about that. But I'm not gonna just bend the knee and go out there and play props that are negative EV or put my Patreon and my users at a disadvantage just for the sake of playing. So hopefully these don't change on Underdog. If they do, it is what it is. Jock Market removed those instantly. Yeah, there's a few other at 5 you could take too. So if you're there on the board, check those out. There were like 4 or 5 scrubs at 5 birdies. All of those would be good. You just joined the Patreon. There you go. Let's get it. All right, so let's look at prize picks. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna enter anything here, guys. The payouts are trash, right? Like if we wanted to take 2 overs for birdies, these are just random props. It's 2.5x. Like it's a headache to enter props. In fact, the only props I entered on prize picks today, they're definitely feeling it in terms of action. I'm not entering anything over there. Was a random lottery on greens regulation, which I'll just show you. Ended up going 4 for 6. This CSGO prop was supposed to DNP. I was told by somebody on Patreon, somebody on Discord, that it would DNP and it didn't. But at least the guy hit. At least it went over his props. So yeah, this is the only slip I went with. And frankly, I don't think we're going to enter much here for tomorrow. The payouts are just shit. If we can get a DNP, actually that DNPs this time, maybe we can go out there and enter a few props. But I don't think we need to overdo it, right? And the thing that's good about that, at least the guy hit, right? So like we made sure to take somebody that was getting kills right at the time of the DNP to make sure just in case it didn't DNP, that the guy went over. The team, by the way, that ended up making the comeback, they were down like 14-4 or some shit, and they won like 12 straight rounds to win the CSGO match, which like I think the odds of that happening are like 0.0001%. The announcers actually like turned on the broadcast because I was like, oh shit, like maybe this isn't going to DNP. The announcers were like freaking out. Like they were like screaming, like they were like freaking out like a Hispanic soccer announcer, like, oh my god, like going the whole 9 yards. Yeah, I know my boy gave me that DMP today. It didn't work out. Apparently, it was like some crazy situation. So I don't know if we want to give him a hard time about that. I don't know if that's fair. All right, let's look at this board though. Let's see. If we throw in a matchup and then we take like a random prop, how does that pay? Is it 3x? So it's 3x for either direction. So if anyone has any hot takes when it comes to the matchup board, I'm all ears today. I'm normally not all ears when it comes to matchups, but if we're going to get normal payouts with these kind of props, it's probably at least worth exploring. So I'm going to leave that down to chat. If you guys have any that you really like, let me know. But in terms of like regular props, like I told you guys before, this Jaeger under I didn't hate. Like Jaeger's like a legit decent player. Like he's not worse than a Patrick Rogers. He's not worse than a Bo Hostler. I can tell you that much. And definitely not that much worse than some of these other lower tier players. So yeah, let's throw Jaeger under in there, and then we can probably find a fade to take too. Let's see. I don't want to force anything in, so maybe we don't take a fade. Let's see what we got on the greens board. The greens board can be pretty awesome to us. It was decent today, right? 3-2. 60% hit rate. I know it's not sexy, but long term, that's profitable. Maybe not on like a 5-man slip, or like 60% hit rate in general is kind of what you want. Let's see. Oh, this board's trash. It's just so hard to make these slips. Like if I wanted to take another under, right? So let's say, or maybe not under. Like let's do like an over, right, for greens regulation. It's 2.5x. It's just like, what's the point of playing this slate? We're gonna get paid these kind of payouts. It's just horseshit. right? I kind of liked the Horschel over, but we have him at 68.5. Like, it just kind of feels like we're overdoing it if we take him at that point. I don't know. Yeah, we might not enter anything on Prize Picks. Let's see if you guys have any thoughts down below. What do we got? Mitchell, Birdie, better matchups. Let's take a look at it. I'm willing to take your opinions here. So he's versus SH Kim. Let's look at his Birdie better stats. I know Keith Mitchell makes some birdies, right? Keith Mitchell is typically, he outpaces his placement with his birdies, which is kind of what we're looking for, right? In these birdie better matchups. So let's look at Mitchell and then let's find SH Kim. I honestly have no idea where to expect to see SH Kim. Not Kevin Yu, Keith Mitchell. So Keith Mitchell is number 64 on tour. And then we're comparing him to Sung Young Kim. Oh my God. This is going to be like impossible to find, isn't it? All right. Let's just do Kim, I guess. Maybe. I know there's a bunch of Kims on tour, but it's better than starting with first few letters. Oh, there he is. What was he? Number 71. So he's actually not that far behind Keith Mitchell. Yeah, maybe not. He's literally 7 spots behind. In terms of players in this field, like I think 3 or 4 of them are actually in the field. Yeah, that's probably a stay away from me. Just too close when it comes to the birdie stats. Hardy versus Billy Ho. Let's take a look. So where's that? Okay, so let's see. Honestly, I don't even know who would be favored there. I feel like they're both not very good. Let's see. So Hardy is 103. Yeah, not so good, right? Why is it? Lord, what's Horschel? If I click the L, it's gonna unplug my mic. That's why I don't want to do this, but I guess we're gonna have to. He's 169. So yeah, I guess if anything, you'd take the under, right? You'd take Nick Hardy's side of that. But considering that Billy Ho looks like his old self this week, I don't know if I'd take that. Yeah, I don't know. These are tough matchups. Let me just take a look myself. Let me see if any stand out. I mean, there might be 1 or 2, right? Yeah, so far nothing standing out. It's just like Scrub matched up against Scrub. Yeah, not the best award for matchups. Hideki Griot, Tony Finau, Aberg. Yeah, no. I don't know. The matchups suck. So they're making you force in like a 50-50 bet to try and get a normal payout structure, which is pretty much like just taking an under, right? Going out there and getting a normal 3x card anyways. So this board over on Prize Picks, just maybe use it to price out the other sites, to go out there, figure out how to compare what you're going to take, because at least based on what I'm looking at right now, I don't see a ton of like mega misprices. Like for greens and regulation, like if you needed to find a fade, like maybe you take Hideki under greens. Like he went under today. And they posted him there at 14 again. Should be slightly windier tomorrow. Maybe you take an under like 13.5 on like a Aaron Rye. Even like an under 14 for a Tony Finau. But like I'm not running to the window to enter a slip. I guess, I don't know, it just kind of feels like a toss up. Whereas some of the value that we got on Underdog so far was like legitimately good value. Like I feel like you got the good end of things. Let's see, what is Griot at for strokes? Yeah, he's at 68.5 on both sites. I was just wondering because they took him off the board. What did they post him at? So they bumped him down. Yeah, this board on Underdog is intriguing to say the least. They got 67.5. What is he, a 68? Yeah. I don't know. We could take the under on Finau, right? But the issue is then we can't take this Jaeger prop. The issue I have with that is now we have to try and find another fade anyways. So like, it's just, this is why I don't want to play on Prize Picks. You can't tell. It's very annoying. Anyone have a hard time scanning their driver's license for Jock Market? Mine worked automated. So maybe it's because you're over in the UK. I don't know if they actually operate over there. So you might need to check on that. You have an older class CDL license. Oh, so you're not over that way anyways. I always thought you were in the UK. I guess not. Might not have the scan bar. That might be it. Yeah. Because mine, I just used my license I got like a month ago. I had to get mine renewed and it worked right away. So yeah, it might depend on which license you're using. That would make sense. This good for insurance on Jock Market, all under birdies for Davis, Poston, and then Hodges and Hostler at 4.5. I don't know if I would enter that. I feel like because the guys got bumped down, it's just not as good a play, right? You don't have that push in your back pocket. And then like Poston and Cam Davis at 5, like I don't know if I'd take those. Like the 5 kind of seems fair for those two, as I guess why I say that. That's all I've got here for the round 3 stream, though. But it's almost midnight. I should probably log off at this point, not keep my neighbors up anymore. I appreciate all the support here on the channel, though, guys. Smash that like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the content in the future, including our round 4 stream, which will hopefully be a little bit earlier tomorrow. Again, they're going off of 3 sums, so they should be finishing up play at like 5, 6 p.m., which means our live stream probably going to be closer to like 7 p.m. as opposed to like 11:15 p.m. Eastern time. So look forward to that. We'll definitely be doing our live stream and hopefully making it a solid weekend for ROI. Best of luck out there. Let's take home a contest or two and cash a few slips in the process too.